Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about food journal, my experience with this tool and some kind of insights I have after 1 month of dealing with food journaling. So as I told in some of my previous videos, in January I started kinda a new health journey, weight loss journey, and kind of the key idea here is to build first of all better relationship with myself, with my head, build self-love, self-acceptance, and I have already many videos on my channel about that. And in terms of weight loss, my biggest kind of elephant in the room that I'm trying to deal with is this idea of building more healthy food relationship. I have a history of not so healthy dieting in the past, of yo-yo dieting, and I've been gaining and losing weight many times. Now I'm in the highest weight I have ever been. I'm like obese according to body mass index. I have binge eating episodes, I have emotional eating episodes, I have cravings. In general, I have not so healthy food relationship, and I'm trying to find tools that gonna be helpful for me to deal with those issues. And disclaimer here, I'm not an expert, I'm not psychologist or food expert. I'm just somebody who has issues, who is curious to learn more about myself and the tools that might be helpful on my journey. And I'm kind of keeping this channel as a way to help others who have similar issues as I do, and also as a way to keep myself accountable and stick to my goals and kind of motivate me keep walking this path and staying on my journey. So food journal, it's a simple yet a very powerful tool to improve your relationship with food. I heard about this tool many times, and even I tried before to have this kind of journal, but it was always not so successful. I started, I was doing it for 2-3 days, and after I was kind of giving up. This time I was able already to do like a month of food journaling, and I want to kind of share my experience with that. First of all, like, what exactly is food journaling? Definitely you can use a paper book and a pen, and I use like a real paper notebook. I bought like a fancy one, the one I like, the one it's nice and pleasant to touch. So and when I see this notebook, I want to grab it and kind of use it. So it should be, I believe, something kind of aesthetically pleasant for you to touch, so you will be kind of coming, taking this notebook in your hands and actually writing. But also you may use some online application. There is a lot of online tools nowadays in order to keep food journal, like special applications for that, or it can be just like notes in your phone. That's also fine, I think. But me personally, I prefer like a paper notebook, a nice pen, some even coloring tools like stickers. I like that type of things. So what should be in that journal? If you're just starting, probably it should be as simple as possible. It's just like what you eat, and probably when you eat, what time eat. Because I already had experience with food journaling before, I decided this time to make it a little bit more complex. So in my food journal, I obviously write everything what I ate. Sometimes I even take photos on my phone, but I don't do it like regularly. I write the time, I write how I feel before I was eating, how I felt after, both physically and emotionally. Like, was I tired, for example, or was that like energetic? Did I have many headache, or maybe I was sick at that time, or maybe I didn't have a nice good night's sleep before, or kind of all information that you think might be relevant to your food experience. Also, it's important to write down like with whom you were. Maybe you were eating alone, maybe you were in a company, maybe it was at home, in your kitchen, maybe it was food out. Those details are also important. Good idea is also to clarify your hunger level from 1 to 10. And like, were you really hungry before you started eating, or moderate, or you were not hungry at all? And also the hunger level after you finished your meal. And because I'm dealing also with emotional eating episodes, I'm also trying to write that. So kind of I'm physically satisfied, but am I emotionally satisfied? And in case it was something that I consider not so healthy and something that it's not going to help me to reach my goals, kind of what was my trigger? What was the trigger that pushed me to eat? For example, a couple of days ago, I was like crazy eating that ice cream, like really, really a lot. And I was thinking, okay, why? What was the reason? And in my case, the reason was that I actually was bored. I had nothing to do. And somehow my brain couldn't find anything more interesting than eating like a half kilo of ice cream. And it can be boredom, it can be some kind of unsatisfaction, it can be some problem at your work or in personal life. It can be like you have planned something but you couldn't do it, and this disappointment leads to eating. And in case you have issues with food, you know that practically anything may trigger food because we feel not good and we're trying to fix it, we're trying to increase our dopamine, serotonin. And because we already created this habit, and we know sugary food, fatty food, high carb food, high calorie foods, they also increase those hormones, they make us happy for a short period of time. And kind of because we feel sad, we feel down, we kind of trying to use those food, sometimes not so healthy food choices, in order to feel better. But again, it's happening only for a short period of time. And after we are kind of even more unhappy and unsatisfied with our decisions. So definitely it's a good idea to start breaking that loop, start breaking that habit. And the first step on that is actually to start being aware what you're eating and why. So triggers, reasons are also a very important part of food journaling. I want to talk about what are the main benefits that I personally see from keeping food journal, and why I think it helps me to deal with those issues, food related issues especially. So first of all, as I already told, it creates awareness. So you are not anymore in this autopilot mode that kind of you're just eating mindlessly. It helps you to understand what actually you're eating, why you're eating, where you are eating, what are your triggers. And for those of us who are dealing with food-related issues like binge eating, emotional eating, strong cravings, night cravings, those could be a very, very helpful tools. Also, I believe that food journaling is a very good tool to identify patterns. And I think this is my biggest aha moment since I started having this journal. I'm not ready yet to share everything what I understood about myself, but kind of main idea, my message here is, if you keep this journal long enough, and if you are like really careful about that, and you're writing everything down, and you kind of trying to understand the triggers, it helps you to understand what is actually happening. Because I noticed that there are some situations in my life that trigger me to eat especially sugary food, or sometimes I'm kind of craving like more like fast food type, like pizza, like burger. And I understood that different situations in my life when I'm unhappy with something trigger me to eat certain amount of food. And once I start noticing these patterns, I started being aware of them, and only awareness give us this chance, this possibility to change something. Because if you are blind, if you're in autopilot, you will never be able to break that cycle, because you just don't see that cycle. And now when I feel exactly the same trigger that triggered me, for example, to eat ice cream, I understand. Even though, let's say now I'm not always able to stop myself, to prevent myself from eating that ice cream, at least now I understand, okay, now I'm eating this ice cream because of this. And I do believe in the near future I will be able to postpone and even to stop that trigger. Or for example, when I feel, for example, unsatisfied with something or upset about something, instead of directly going and eating that ice cream or burger or pizza or whatever I'm eating, I will be able to find an alternative tool. And instead of ice cream, I will go for a walk, or I will take a hot shower, or I will make myself a herbal tea. And I feel that I already have progress. There were already a couple of episodes when I was able to stop myself, and way more episodes when I was able to postpone it. And I think it's already a big progress, because if you suffer from binge eating, you know how hard it is. You just like kind of blindlessly, like you feel like you're kind of not controlling your body, and you just immediately run to fridge and eat, or you immediately order food or run to shop and buy it. But being able to postpone it at least for 1 hour, it's a big success. And I was not able to do it 1 hour like immediately. First it was 5 minutes, later it was 20 minutes, after it was half an hour. Now I can do it like 1 hour. And I already have moments when instead of eating that ice cream, I tell myself, okay, after eating that ice cream, I will feel like really worse. I will have not pleasant feeling in my stomach. I will be not in a nice place mentally. Maybe instead of going to fridge and eating that ice cream, I will just go for a walk, or I just will go and like sit somewhere and listen to some nice calming music, or I will do something else that also will make me feel better, something that gonna help me to feel not so sad, not so bored, not so stressed. Because yeah, food is gonna help me for a while, for a very short time, but after I will still have the same problem. Plus I will have this feeling of self-guilt and self-blaming myself. Why have I eaten half a kilo of ice cream, or why have I eaten that whole pizza, or something like that? So yeah, it takes time to kind of feel that you are progressing. It takes time to start building those habits. And you know, everything which is connected with food, connected with our psychology, those are not so easy habits to break. And it might be difficult to explain for those who have never experienced something like this. But those of us who have been dealing with this, especially practically for all of our lives, we already know that's definitely, it's not easy situations to deal with. So I hope you find this video useful. If you like it, please like it. And if you have any more ideas, more tools, more strategies that help you to deal with food cravings and food related issues, and if you have your personal experience with food journaling, maybe some additional strategies that I haven't mentioned but you think they are good ones, please leave them in the comments below. Because again, the more tools we have, the more aware we are, the easier it is for us to build better relationship with ourselves and to reach our big and ambitious goals. So thank you for staying here with me, and I will see you soon.